In the brand new NNSCRA Duracell Cup Series, we are ready to kick things off here with our first points-paying race of the season. This is the Great American Race, Daytona 500. Capping off what's been an unbelievable weekend here to start off this brand new series. We had pole day qualifying, we had the two Gatorade duels, and before all that, we of course had the hashtag Daytona Dream 2019 GoFundMe Clash. So it has definitely been a wild week here at the home of the Great American Race, and now it's time to go racing with points on the line. This is where it all begins. This is the Daytona 500, and it is the start towards the chase for the championship, where we will end up seeing 16 drivers battle it out for the title when we reach the completion of race 26. 40 drivers in our field here today. The field set up based off of pole day qualifying and our Gatorade duels. You will notice there is a particular driver not up here at the front of the field, and that is Johnny Gardner. Now, Johnny Gardner was the winner of the Daytona 500 pole in pole day qualifying, but he was caught up in not one but two wrecks in the first Gatorade duel, where he was the pole sitter for that event as well. Now, the first wreck did not have him really in that much of a dire straits. Made some contact with Trent Dunham, a little bit of rear end damage. That could have been fixed, but he did get damage as well in the second wreck in that Gatorade duel. He did finish out the race, but when he brought it to pit road and into the garage area, they found out that there was some extensive damage on the front nose of the car, and it had actually caused damage to the radiator. That's an item that you cannot change without going to a backup car, and thus Johnny Gardner having to have a radiator change. They decided to just go to a backup car. He will be starting towards the rear of the field in the 35th position. Now, bear in mind, just because Johnny Gardner is gone to the rear does not mean he is not the official pole sitter for the Daytona 500. He will still be locked into the Clash next season if he is in a ride next year. So the whole inside line moves up a row, and so our Gatorade Duel number 1 winner, Vince Almriego, is our unofficial pole sitter, if you will, for today's Great American Race. Keith Batson managed to keep his car in one piece in the second Gatorade duel. It was a wreckfest duel number 1, and then a very calm duel number 2, so Batson will still keep himself on the outside of the front row, and Chris Dollerton, who won the second Gatorade duel, lines up behind him in the second position. The good news for Johnny Gardner, though, is he'll be starting 35th, not 40th. A number of other drivers were caught up in the wreck in Gatorade Duel number 1, are going to backup cars as well, including Dylan Young, Trent Dunham, Adam Garcia, Benjamin Miles, and Diego Yepes. Let's go down trackside and get the command.
Drivers, start your engines.
And so as the command is given, and this Dodge Challenger pace car will lead them around for a couple of pace laps for possibly the final time this season, at least until we get to All-Star Race Break or so. Here is that special-looking starting grid as it will show you the 40 drivers that are ready to take the green flag here to start off the season in the Great American Race, Daytona 500.
I watch the world outside while you're buried alive. Shaking hands, can I catch my breath? It's 3 a.m. and I'm scared to death. My darkest side has come alive. Get out the hell I live in every day. You say it's just a phase, I'll be okay. What you can't feel must not be real. I wear my heart here on my sleeve, but you can't say no one sees. This is killing me. I can barely breathe. No one knows what's inside of me. Still I can't. Too late to fit in. Don't you dare pretend you know what it's like. Watch the world outside while you're buried alive. 6 feet under, still no one can hear my cry for help falling on deaf ears. So
50 laps of racing here today. Absolutely gorgeous racing conditions. Beautiful clear blue sky. Temperatures ranging between 65 to 70. And just a little bit of a wind from the northeast, and we'll see if that plays any issue into the aerodynamics of these race cars. Of course, all these drivers have gotten the opportunity to be able to get used to the new rules package that we're using here this season. If not in the Clash, then in pole day qualifying, where we did have some pack racing, and then of course in the two respective Gatorade duels. So Vince Almriego in the Chevy has a whole bunch of Fords behind him in second, third, and fourth. Batson, Mills, and Dollerton. So far this season, we've seen a Chevy win the Clash. We've had a Ford and a Chevy win the duels. And as far as numbers go, we have more Fords than we do Chevys. Not a whole lot more Fords, but definitely the advantage is in the camp of the Blue Oval, so we'll see. Will the numbers game play into a Ford driver picking up the first win of the season as far as a points-paying race? We're going to have to wait and see. It'll be Vince Almriego, Keith Batson bringing us down. And the first season of the Duracell Cup Series is green. Batson hanging tough on that outside line. Vince Almriego trying to get out free and clear with the top position. They're 3 wide behind him. Carter Friesen making some moves. And now that inside line getting a little bit better lined up. Almriego looks like he will clear for the top position. Side by side for second between Jose Mills and Keith Batson. 3 wide about 5-6 rows deep already here in the Daytona 500 as Jose Mills now going to try and get out to the lead in the first lap of the Daytona 500, led by the pole sitter Vince Almriego. As now Mills has got Carter Friesen behind him, and here comes his teammate Jordan Lopez there in the 38. Couple of drivers out of Blue Oval Automotive trying to work together here. It looks like it'll be teammates 1-2 at least right now, coming off turn number 4. Jordan Lopez now with a rear deck lid full of Matt Haas, the Chevrolet. Then you've got a Ford and Ryan Acosta, then a Toyota. First Toyota up towards the front, and that's James Shelley in the Monster Energy Camry. Now moving to the top side goes Jose Mills. That opens up the door down low. Big run for Matt Haas, help from Ryan Acosta. And he's going to get out to the race leader. I was requested by a few people that I try and find a Daytona that would make for good racing and not have drivers going up and hitting that outside wall. Normally I've been able to find one here. Had to do a bit of extra testing before recording this Daytona 500 race. And so far it looks like we're okay. We're just going to have to wait and see as the race progresses on. Shelley's going to lead that lap, but now Levi McIntyre with a run to the inside. Or does he have Ryan Butcher now with a big run in that 24? We saw Ryan Butcher making a lot of big aggressive moves in the first Gatorade duel as well. The 24 car seems to be wound up and wanting to go someplace, and he's gone as far as he can go to the front. Here comes Charles Sanford, though, in the Coke Vanilla Chevrolet, and Trent Dunham in a backup car. He's now going to move up to second. A couple more backup cars right behind him. Benjamin Miles, the 25, Diego Yepes in the 0. And guess what? I finally figured out what the Chevrolet team that has the 0, the 4, the 5, and the 8, what their team name is called. They're going to be Unknown Motorsports, because I clearly could not come up with a name for that team before the Daytona 500 started. So Unknown Motorsports is what they're going to be called. Oh, got a car in the apron. That's Matthew Rodriguez. Oh, little contact there with Diego Yepes. They got to let him back up. Or is there an issue on the 57? Oh, he's still down there in the apron. I want to drop back there just to make sure he gets back up onto the track safely. He's letting off. Are they going to let him back up, or is there an issue on the 57 of Matthew Rodriguez? Still has his car down there in the apron. Brings it back on the track right in front of Trey Wright, and looks like he's going to keep it going. Wow, that was a lot of wheel driving on the part of Matthew Rodriguez. I mean, not many people are able to run the apron here at Daytona and not have it slide up back into traffic. A tremendous credit to everybody there for giving Matthew Rodriguez the room necessary to keep that car from spinning out. It's going to split the field up a little bit, but I think they'll catch back up. I mean, they're 3 wide, several rows deep ahead of him, so man, we dodged the caution right there as Dylan Young takes a turn out in front. That's another backup car. Dylan Young had a lot of front-end damage after getting caught up in, I believe, both of the wrecks we had in Gatorade Duel number 1. And now, out in front, the SunTrust Chevrolet Camaro, the Georgia native William Brock. Here comes another Toyota. That's Benny Watson, the 75. Otter Island Motorsports, the single-car race team. Thought he had led that lap over William Brock, but the ticker says that Brock got him at the line. Now Dylan Pote behind him, and here comes the official pole sitter for the Great American Race. That yellow car on the inside line, that's Johnny Gardner in the 14. One thing that I'm liking right now that I'm seeing here is there are a lot of lead changes. Drivers are getting big-time runs with this new rules package. And there's a lot of lead changes going on here early, and we're only 6 laps in, about to complete our 7th lap of the day. You see back there, the field is split up into 2 groups, it would appear. And Gardner took him 7 laps, but he does lead a lap here now, does the pole sitter. There's now Kyle Matthews to the inside. Here comes Zach Rogers to the right. Oh, we got another car down there in the apron. I couldn't tell who it was, though. Well, that was the 38 of Jordan Lopez, and we've got a wreck. We've got a wreck in turn 1. I believe the caution is out. I saw smoke over in turn 1. I believe that the caution has been thrown. I'm looking to see if indeed that is the case. And indeed it is. Yes, the first caution has come out. I don't know if it had to do with Jordan Lopez, who appeared to be down on the apron, but Zach Rogers, one of 2 Dodge Challengers, is going to bring us down and lead us under our first caution of the day here at Daytona. Now, I will say, I only got a brief look over in turn 1, but it appeared that there was only 1 car that had spun. I'm seeing more skid marks, though. So apparently it was not a 1-car incident. And I think it might have had to do with over in that second pack, but I don't know if it started with Lopez, who we saw down the apron of turn 1. Dodge Challenger pace car will pick up the Dodge Challenger leader, Zach Rogers. Let's look and see who was involved in this. And our Gatorade Duel number 2 winner, Chris Dollarton, as well as another Ford, that's Wyatt Quayle in the 41. The whole left front wheel well ripped off that machine. His teammate also involved, Ryan Acosta. Matt Haas sits on pit road. Matt McIntyre, our Clash winner, and who I thought might be one of the strongest cars here today, Jose Mills, who started this race unofficially from the 3rd position, finished 2nd in Gatorade Duel number 1. Like there might be right side damage on Ryan Brommer, and 3 of the back marker motorsports cars with damage. Seth Cole, Carson Gum, and Cole Baker. So this was definitely not a single car wreck. This was a multi-car wreck, our first big one, it looks like, of the day. Pits are open. Everybody's going to come down as they make these pit stops here on lap number 9. We're going to go back and take a look at a replay. What brought out the caution for the first time here today in the Daytona 500. Well, we go back here to the entry of the trioval, and you see the 9 of Ryan Brommer go down to the apron. Now, I don't know if the replay started at the right time, but there was actually contact between Levi McIntyre and Julius Anderson, sending the Ford down, and I think that Ryan Brommer moved low to avoid in case a wreck took place, but then he tries coming back onto the track here, exiting the trioval, gets into Seth Cole's left rear quarter panel, and this is what's going to cause the wreck down into turn 1. These drivers are going over 200 miles per hour. You see them here. At this point, they're trying to scrub off speed. Ryan Brommer nearly went down, and Kyle Busch did. I don't think he hit that inside retaining wall, but we'll go back and look at and see with him as Seth Cole Going to try and bring it safely back up onto the racetrack, and he's still going 190 miles per hour, and let's see who it is he gets. Is it Matt McIntyre right here? Yep, Matt's going to get him in the right rear quarter panel, turns him up into Wyatt Quayle, Ryan Acosta, nowhere for these guys to go. There's Baker. Brommer actually hit nobody. He went up and hit the wall, but he didn't hit anybody. It was Seth Cole and Matt McIntyre combined that wiped out all these drivers. And as we mentioned, that is 3 of the Backmarker Motorsports cars that got involved here, I believe. Oh, yeah, right there you can see just up ahead, Carson Gum and Chris Dollarton got into each other. Down there on that double yellow line, the paint grip there is very slick, and Jack Mitchell as well getting involved in this wreck as he was just completely blockaded up by the 19 and the 43. Now, Dollarton started this race from the 4th position. We saw his car was smoking, so his day is done. Let's go back and take a look at Ryan Brommer, see how close he was to hitting that inside retaining wall. The big one, at least the first one, has struck here today at Daytona. Here it is again. This is after Ryan Brommer and Seth Cole had made contact. And watch just how close Ryan Brommer came to going down to that inside safer barrier. He might have actually almost missed the safer barrier if that car was still sideways. There you see him get the car straightened out, driving through the grass, still at about 180 miles per hour. But he was not the one that went up and swept anybody up. They were all basically past him at this point. He goes up and he pounds that outside safer barrier there with the right side of his race car, but for the most part he kept out of everybody's way. I don't know how hard a hit that was to the right side of his Dodge Challenger, but he might be able to continue. And there you see he just makes his way through the parking lot there in the middle of turns 1 and 2. So we know a number of drivers are going to be out due to this very early end to their day here in the Great American Race. Let's take a couple of onboards. Onboard with Jesse Turner carrying the U.S. Armed Forces onboard camera. Received the 1 to green signal as the cars head out of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. Zach Rogers' team getting it done on pit road. He came down as the leader. He leaves as the leader and subsequently will be our leader when we get the restart on lap 13 of 50. Keith Batson will line up behind him in 2nd. Jay Jefferson in 3rd. Carter Friesen in 4th with Dylan Young in 5th. Rest of your top 10 for this restart will be Trey Wright, Mitchell Collins, Vince Almariego, Ryan Butcher, and Dylan Poteet. Well, the Daytona 500 comes to an early end for a number of drivers after the wreck we just saw take place, and that includes the drivers of Matt Haas, Jack Mitchell, Wyatt Quayle, Chris Dollarton, Ryan Acosta, Jose Mills, and Matt McIntyre. That's, I believe, 4 Fords taken out in that wreck and 3 Chevrolets. So the odds of a Dodge or a Toyota going to victory lane starting to get a little bit better. So Zach Rogers will lead the 33 drivers that remain back down here to the green flag. And on lap 13, we're ready to go back racing here at Daytona. Saw those onboard cameras that we had during the replay of the last wreck. We'll be having special onboards during the course of the season. There will be a camera on a Ford, a Dodge, a Chevy, and a Toyota in each and every race. 2 drivers will have the helmet cam, and Jesse Turner for the entirety of the season will have an onboard camera. courtesy of the U.S. Armed Forces. So Matt McIntyre's out of the race. We lost our Chevrolet onboard camera. Zach Rogers, the race leader, is the holder of the Dodge onboard camera today. Mitchell Collins in the 22 has the Ford onboard camera. The Toyota onboard camera is on the 71 of James Shelley, and two drivers have the special helmet cam here today. The driver of the 1, Trent Dunham, and the driver of the 02, Jessica Shelton, if we need them. Dylan Young going to get out in front now there in the 2 car, as we've got some damaged goods at the rear of the field. That's Kyle Matthews there in the 09. A lot of damage on that car, and I don't think he was caught up in the wreck, so I don't know where that damage came from. Michael Norman's back here with Carson Gum. I don't remember Michael getting involved in a wreck either. Ryan Brommer, we know, was involved in the wreck, though. There's Cole Baker with the damage he sustained, and then you got this second group of race cars back here trying to catch up to the first. I don't think these drivers are off the pace. I think they may have had a slower car in between them and the cars ahead of them, and that's caused them to lose the lead pack. Now it's being led again by Zach Rogers in the 6. Vince Almriego moving into second place. Now I do have on good authority, though, that even though these drivers all came down pit road on the completion of lap 9 going on to lap 10, they cannot make it the rest of the way on fuel if we go green the remainder of this race. And how about the Young Motorsports cars all up here inside of the top lead pack? Adam Garcia in the 12 takes a turn out front. Garcia in a backup car, actually, and running well right now. His teammate Dylan Young was out in front earlier, and Mitchell Collins is just in the back of this lead group. And side by side for second between James Shelley and Levi McIntyre. And there's Matthew Rodriguez in the 57. He's had an exciting day already as he ran just about an entire lap around the apron of this racetrack. Unfortunately, everybody gave him the room to be able to get back up onto the track, but a little bit of a wild ride there for the driver of the Fun Dip Chevrolet Camaro, and now they're going to go 3 wide. Here comes Trey Wright in the 28 going for the top position. He's got a Ford in tow and Keith Batson. So the drivers in that second pack, they are hoping for a caution to be able to catch back up, as it looks like this first group is actually gaining ground on the second group of race cars. Either that or they have to hope that they're going to have a really good pit strategy. The thing that might work out for them, though, is this group is catching lap traffic, and they are going to go 4 wide in this lead pack. That's Anderson, Butcher, Jefferson. That's not going to work. The big one has struck a Daytona. We got a car upside down. Here comes the second pack, plowing in. Jefferson is up and over. Seth Cole is flipping. They're still wrecking down the back straightaway. Shelton is in it. Miles, Turner. Oh my goodness. Ryan Butcher is all torn up. And it will be Dylan Young, I believe, leading them back to the caution over his teammate Mitchell Collins in the 22. Oh my word. A horrific crash from turn 2 all the way down the back straightaway. They went 4 wide in the lead pack. They wrecked. And then the second group, which was about 2 to 3 seconds back, came flying in. And we had more cars airborne. I saw Shelley was upside down. Jay Jefferson was upside down. Seth Cole was in the air. And I thought the first wreck we had was the big one. It had nothing on what we just saw. This was the big one here today at Daytona. My goodness, we're going to have a lot of drivers in the garage area after this one, and we're going to be able to use, I think, just about every onboard camera we have at our disposal after this one as well. Dylan Young leads us under the second caution of the day here in the Daytona 500. Looks like they're all going to take the opportunity to come down and pit once again here under our second caution. Let's go back and take a look at a replay of what brought out this yellow flag. Huge, massive wreck on lap 17. Well, you guys better settle in because we're going to have a lot of replay footage to show you for this one. Remember we mentioned Ryan Butcher back in the first Gatorade Duel was making a lot of aggressive moves. Well, he makes one here as well. I don't know if there was contact between himself and Julius Anderson that sent him up or not, but he moves up. It opens up the door for Anderson. He's going to stick his foot in there, and they are 4 wide. That is a teammate that Julius Anderson put 3 wide. Jay Jefferson there in the 5. Shelley up on the top side, and there's the contact. Trey Wright nowhere to go. He gets collected in it. So is Matthew Rodriguez. Just about everybody, with the exception of Keith Batson, got a piece of that. There you see James Shelley immediately up and over. Dylan Poteet looks like he got a little bit of damage, but he relatively got through unscathed. Adam Garcia was in it there. And then here comes the second group. Oh, and Seth Cole got turned right up into it, courtesy of Charles Sanford. Sanford got into Seth Cole's right rear and turned him into the wreck, and then they're wrecking further up there. That is William Brock I see up there, James Qualls, Jessica Shelton, Benjamin Miles, Jesse Turner. We'll get to that in a moment. Look at the wild barrel roll ride for Jay Jefferson. Seth Cole, his car was up and over. Shelley's car still on its roof. That car never got back onto all 4 Goodyears. There is Charles Sanford all crunched up as more drivers come flying into the wreck, and oh my goodness, Carson Gum and Michael Norman and Jefferson back up into the air again. 2 violent hits for the driver of the number 5 Cobalt Chevy Camaro out of Unknown Motorsports, and he was in unknown territory for sure as that car was up in the air twice. Good Lord. Now I believe we're gonna go back several angles here. We're gonna look here at the incident on the back straightaway as they were all trying to avoid. We're gonna look later on at that incident right there with Charles Sanford hooking Seth Cole. But I think that the incident on the back straightaway, the follow-up wreck there, is going to be contact between the 11 of James Qualls and the 88 of William Brock. Oh, Qualls got into the back of somebody. Oh, he ran into the back of Levi McIntyre. That stacked all these guys up. Looks like Benjamin Miles ran into the back of Qualls, as did William Brock. Jessica Shelton in the stack-up. I think she got run into the back of by Jesse Turner. And, oh, contact there as well for Trent Dunham. So we're definitely going to be able to use both of our helmet cams. But I want to go back here to the Jesse Turner wreck again. Because he was already barrel rolling from turn 2 over here to the exit of turn 2. And then just watch coming flying in here are Carson Gum and Michael Norman. You got Brommer and Baker. They go to the outside. Gum and Norman, they go to the bottom. The 5's not even on its wheels yet. He gets hit with the driver roof. That was more towards the hood, thank goodness, but that was the roof that Carson Gum hit. And that 5 car, I don't even know how far off the ground that car went. But that is a scary, scary wreck right there for Jay Jefferson. Man, your heart goes into your throat when you see the hit that he took right there. I mean, the first hit with him barrel rolling was bad enough. But that second lick, good grief. All right, let's take a look now. Let's go back to the 03 of Charles Sanford. Now, he and Seth Cole were leading that second pack. And I think all of the stuff that happens with the 2 of them is in regards to what happens up ahead of them. You see Benny Watson there. Yeah, see Watson goes down the apron. He sees there's a wreck. He's going to try and get low. Seth Cole tries to do the same. And Seth might actually get loose down there on the paint. Now, Charles sees the 12 and the 5 coming down, and he's trying to get as low as he can, and there's just not enough room. And, boy, look at that hit for Seth Cole. That was driver's side that he hit. There you see the 5 up in the air, off the racing surface. Trey Wright also a wild ride for that Boy Scouts of America Green Day Ford. And I don't know if necessarily the second camera is going to be able to give us a shot here at the 5 or not. We'll take a look. Oh, it is. Let's see what it shows here. Car is going to come to rest just in the camera shot. I do believe. Charles Sanford's going to make his way by. There you see those 4 cars, Gum, Norman, Brommer, and Baker coming into view. This is going to give us a perfect shot of where exactly Carson Gum hit. Oh, thank goodness it was at least close to the front of the car, like where the motor is, rather than just above the driver cockpit. But that doesn't take away from just the violence of that hit. Well, hope you guys are ready for some onboards. Just about everybody that's carrying an onboard or a helmet camera is involved in this in one way or another. Let's take a look at those onboards now. Start with our Toyota onboard, James Shelley at 71. And as you can see, that car never came back onto its wheels, and we lost that camera for good. How about our first helmet cam with Jessica Shelton in the Smirnoff Chevy Camaro? Just thought she had it missed, and then they wrecked just up ahead of her after getting by that big wreck there in turn 2. Well, Jesse Turner had the first wreck avoided, not so lucky with this one. Boy, so many cars would have gotten through that if Levi McIntyre hadn't been in the way of their escape. This may be our last surviving onboard, the Dodge onboard camera with Zach Rogers. Wow! What a save! That car was sideways. It's come unscathed. Let's see what the Ford onboard camera with Mitchell Collins saves. We just saw with Rogers and Dylan Young making that contact. Collins makes it through as well. And finally, the helmet cam of Trent Dunham. Well, he made that contact there with Jessica Shelton. That was with the front of his race car, so we'll have to see if he's going to be up to speed or not. Well, after our big one here, second caution of the day, but definitely the biggest wreck we've had so far, there's not very many cars left to battle it out here, and we have not even yet reached the halfway point of this Daytona 500. I mean, that was maybe the worst scenario you could have for a wreck, and it took out a lot of drivers, which we will document in just a moment. Mitchell Collins is going to come out with the race lead over Zach Rogers. Dylan Young's team lost him a couple of spots on pit road. He'll restart third. Johnny Gardner up in fourth. Benny Watson fifth. Diego Yepes, Keith Batson, Carter Friesen, Austin LaPlante, and Jordan Lopez are your top 10. Then it's Levi McIntyre in 11th, Vince Almriego in 12th, 13th Jesse Turner, 14th is Dylan Poteet, 15th William Brock, 16th is Julius Anderson, and I believe that's it for the drivers that are running. Everybody else is out of the race. So there are only 16 cars left here to finish out the Daytona 500. We'll document where everybody's going to be officially finishing for the drivers out of the race. Green flag back in the air here on lap 22. And Zach Rogers jumping up to the top side at the very get-go. He's got Dylan Young with him. He's going to take the top spot into turn 1. Shades of Matt McIntyre on the last restart of the Clash, when he jumped to the high side on Kyle Matthews and went on to win that race. A lot of drivers at the tail end of the field just trying to finish out the day as best they can here, get as many points as possible. Jesse Turner doesn't even have a hood, but trying to at least finish out the day in the top 20. Jordan Lopez got a little high up the track there. May have brushed the wall through turns 3 and 4. So as Zach Rogers leads us, let's take a look at who the drivers out of the race are and where they will be finishing out this race officially. Cole Baker will finish in 17th, Trent Dunham in 18th. 19th will be Ryan Brommer, Kyle Matthews in 20th. Kyle Matthews, though, did manage to finish a little bit better than he would have. I believe he got put a lap down coming back to that last caution. Charles Sanford will be 21st. Ryan Butcher will be 22nd. 23rd place, Benjamin Miles. 24th, Jessica Shelton. Matthew Rodriguez, 25th. James Pauls in 26th. 27th, Michael Gordon. James Shelley, 28th. 29th is Carson Gum. 30th will be Trey Wright. 31st, Jay Jefferson. Certainly want to get a medical report on him, medical update. As far as I know, he's still in the infield care center. Seth Cole there in 32nd. Adam Garcia will be 33rd. And then these other drivers were out after the first wreck that took place today. Matt Haas, Jack Mitchell, Wyatt Quayle, Chris Dalwerton, Ryan Acosta, Jose Mills, and Matt McIntyre. Well, all these drivers had the opportunity with these two cautions to come down pit road, but even at that point, I still don't think they're good to go on fuel. And here comes Julius Anderson for the race lead, who probably is not going to be everybody's favorite driver when this race is over. He's the one that made the 4-wide move into turn 1 that really triggered that big wreck. To be fair, Ryan Butcher did open the door, but Julius Anderson was more than willing to stick his foot in there, and we saw the results. More drivers in the garage area than there are on track currently. We've got about, 14, 15 cars up in this lead pack right now. Tail in this lead pack, and he crossed the line in 14th. So 14 cars in this lead pack, still with a shot of winning the Daytona 500. Levi McIntyre damaged and off the pace. He's currently in 15th. Jesse Turner also off the pace there in 16th place, and that is your lot. That's all what we have here left for this Daytona 500 race. And I think these drivers still are going to have to come to pit road at least one more time. With the timing of that second caution, it could be that they'll be seeing these drivers hitting pit road somewhere within the realm of 5 to 7 laps to go. That is if we have seen our last caution of the day. I don't want to jinx it, especially with only 16 cars still running, but there's a possibility we have not seen the yellow flag wave for the final time here today. I'm trying to look and see with our survivors if there's the opportunity for teammates to work together. I do see 2 of Dylan Young and the 22 of Mitchell Collins. Those are teammates that could work together. You've got the 48 and the 88 of LaPlante and Brock out of Northeast Motorsports. They could work together. And the leader, Julius Anderson, has a teammate in this lead pack, the 0 of Diego Yepes. My main concern right now, though, is for their other teammate, Jay Jefferson, after that hit we saw him take, the second hit where he got clobbered by Carson Gum. Now, like I said back on the replay, the fortunate thing was it looked like Carson hit around the hood area more than towards the roof. And so hopefully that is the case, and that the front end of the car took most of the brunt of that hit. But still being evaluated in the infield care center is Jay Jefferson. A lot of drivers took some hard licks in that wreck. Seth Cole was up in the air. James Shelley was up in the air. Trey Wright was up in the air. As Benny Watson, the Toyota, out in front, and I believe he is the lone Toyota left in this field. All 4 of the Backmarker Motorsports cars are out of the race. Benny Watson gets a little bit of technical support from Backmarker Motorsports since there are only 5 Toyotas in the field this season. And he is the lone hope for the Camrys to try and start off the season with a victory. Vince Almariego, he wasn't the official pole sitter for today, but he did start on the inside of row 1. He's up here in the hunt. I know Trent Dunham hates Daytona, especially the Daytona 500 weekend, but maybe his teammate likes it a little bit better. Now Austin LaPlante up the middle 3 wide. Mitchell Collins on the bottom, now charging up for second place. And how about Johnny Gardner there in the 14? You see him at the tail end of this lead pack. He qualified on the pole for the Daytona 500, got involved in 2 wrecks in the first Gatorade duel, had to go to a backup car, started 35th, and he's still up here in this lead pack, up to speed. That backup car running very well, and he's got a shot of winning the Daytona 500. I believe we've got 2 backup cars, no, 3, sorry, backup cars up here in this lead pack. Got Dylan Young there in the 2, Diego Yepes in the 0, and Johnny Gardner in the 14 as they're going to catch Jesse Turner. And he's going to hold up that inside line, at least for right now. Watson's got to try and get by him. Now he darts to the inside on Turner. Keith Batson's going to try and get down there as well, just in front of fellow Ford Jordan Lopez. Look at Diego Yepes. He had that inside line open. He's going to go for a second, and he'll take it away. As Watson, for the moment, gets away with the lead. Let's make sure that nobody's going to lose this lead pack. Getting held up behind Jesse Turner, William Brock, Mitchell Collins, and Julius Anderson right now all held up. But I think they can get around them. I think they'll still all be in the draft of this lead pack. Collins has got to get down there to the bottom, and now he succeeds in doing so. So I think all these drivers will get back up together. We'll have another slow car pretty soon, I would think, in Levi McIntyre. And it may come down to how these drivers encounter Turner and McIntyre as to who's going to end up winning this race, perhaps. McIntyre exiting out of turn 4 now. The field is just entering turn 4, so yeah, I would say within the next lap or 2, we're going to have Levi McIntyre in the way of these drivers. Oh, we had a bit of a breakaway there. It's about 8 cars up in this lead pack now, and then it's a gap back to 9th. You can hear the engine there in the distance of Levi McIntyre. I think they'll probably catch him this lap, especially with the rules package. The draft's so important. Levi is going 178, 179. Can he hit 180? Yes, he can. Leaders, however, are going over 200 miles per hour. There's a 20 mile per hour difference. So they are going to catch him very quickly. Zach Rogers there in that 6 car. Not only is he getting it done on the racetrack, but his pit crew has been really good too. Under the first caution, he was the leader coming down pit road, and he left as the leader. Look at him using the 99 as a pick, as he's going to try and take the top position back. And then I believe his crew gained him 3-4 spots on pit road after the second caution. And if it comes down to a green flag pit stop, I think Zach Rogers has got the best pit crew of the day so far, and that could be the deciding factor in whether he's going to win this Daytona 500 or not. Benny Watson and Diego Yepes trapped on that outside line. Now Watson's going to get down in front of Jordan Lopez, but he dropped from the lead all the way back to 6th. How about Carter Friesen? We didn't really talk a lot about Carter Friesen back in the second Gatorade duel. No, it was the first Gatorade duel. Brought it home in this 3rd position, I believe it was, as Jordan Lopez is hitting pit road, so the pit stops begin. Carter Friesen's been really good this weekend, actually, and so got to give a shout out to him, and here he is up here in the hunt to maybe win this Daytona 500. Another driver we haven't given a shout out to, who's up in this lead pack. How about Dylan Poteet? He's the lone representative now for Motorsports. All 3 of his other teammates out of the race. He's up in the 6th position, looking good right now as well. And Benny Watson wants to go back to the front. Now making a move for 2nd on Carter Friesen. Keith Batson's had a stellar day, had a stellar week. Qualified outside of the front row for the Daytona 500, survived his Gatorade duel. I think he finished that duel in 8th, and now he's up here in this lead pack, and here comes everybody to pit road. So now the question is this where the fuel window opened for these drivers to be able to make it the rest of the way on fuel, or is this maybe not yet their last pit stop of the day? It's like nobody decided to stay out. Everybody came to pit road, whether they were in that lead pack or the 2nd pack. And that 6 team has been really good on pit road. Right side tire's been put on. Looks like it's going to be a 2-tire pit stop for Rogers and fill it full of fuel. Benny Watson gave him a run for his money there, but it looks like it's going to be Rogers Watson coming off pit lane 1-2. Then Yepes, Young, Batson, Friesen, Poteet, Collins, Gardner. One thing I didn't think about, too, was the fact that Johnny Gardner had to go to a backup car. He forfeited his #1 pit stall. And San Diego had the #1 pit stall on pit lane, so I didn't really even think about that. Look at this, Benny Watson, Zach Rogers coming off pit road together, but Watson says, no, I want that race lead. Now they're coming out together. Then you got Yepes by himself. This might be the group that's going to be able to get some stuff done. Dylan Young, Keith Batson, Dylan Poteet, Jordan Lopez, and Austin LaPlante all together. 5-car pack. You got another pack behind them with Carter Friesen, Mitchell Collins, and Johnny Gardner. We'll have to see if they can do anything. Then there's another group here. That is Vince Almriego, William Brock. There's Levi McIntyre in the 99, who I don't think is up to speed, but somehow he's with this group. Julius Anderson there as well in the 4. And Watson made the pass on Rogers. So now the question is, can these two cars, who continue to battle side by side, hold off this other group? Well, reeled in Diego Yepes, the 3rd place car, and these drivers are going much faster. Keith Batson's at 194. These two guys are at 185. That's almost 10 miles per hour difference. They're going to get reeled in very quickly. Keith Batson leading the charge. This is the only day, or the only weekend that we'll be seeing him running this Southern Maine Stampede sponsorship. Only running it for the Daytona 500. He will be sponsored by the U.S. Air Force Blue Angels and prisoners of war missing in action for the remainder of the season. And they're going to go to the 3rd position. And as these drivers are battling, they are reeling in Zach Rogers and Benny Watson still, who are side by side. Now, why are these guys side by side? I mean, this is hurting them. But I think they might be trying to get that extra bonus point from Open Flaps led. But at the same time, they're also bringing in more competitors to try and win this Daytona 500. And look at that, just like that. There's LaPlante, there's Yepes, and there's about 10 cars up in this lead pack now. Mitchell Collins, Carter Friesen, and Johnny Gardner did a heck of a job getting up here into this lead pack as well. They had to catch up to that bigger group. Now the question is, what about these guys? Are they going to be able to do that? Looks like Levi McIntyre is somewhat up to speed. Hanging with this group of Brock, Anderson, and Almriego, who I think are all up to speed and not damaged. So I'm really surprised about that. Levi McIntyre is still sticking with these guys. William Brock running about 189. These guys are running about 191 to 194. So I don't think that group of 3 are going to be able to catch up. So Julius Anderson, William Brock, they might very well be out of the hunt for this Daytona 500 victory. 3 wide there, Diego Yepes, Dylan Young, and Austin LaPlante. As it's still side by side between Zach Rogers and Benny Watson. Rogers led that last lap. Rogers also led a number of laps under caution, our first yellow of the day, so right now it looks like he could very well be in line for most laps led here today. Benny Watson battling up on the top side. He's got Diego Yepes with him. Chevy helping a Toyota. Down low, you've got Zach Rogers being helped by Dylan Young, a Ford helping a Dodge. You have all 4 manufacturers up here with a shot of winning this Daytona 500. Zach Rogers and Benny Watson, the lone manufacturer representatives for Toyota and Dodge. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Fords and 1, 2, it's like 5 Chevys. Dylan Young with that 3 wide move to the lead. Not so fast. Big run for Carter Friesen down the back straightaway. He'll take the top spot. Help from Johnny Gardner. A lot of teams that had a lot of cars coming into this race now find themselves the lone representative for their respective teams. Johnny Gardner is the last driver out there for Joanna Atwood Motorsports. Dylan Poteet, the last driver out there for Michael Norman Motorsports. Diego Yepes, I believe. Oh, no, he's not. I was going to say he was the last representative for his team, but he's not. Got slower car up ahead, and that is Jesse Turner in the 47, still soldiering on in 16th. Now they're getting racy up here in this lead pack, realizing they're catching that slower car, trying to figure out where do I want to be able to get around that slow car and emerge with the lead. Poteet made a move, now bats into the bottom. Austin LaPlante right there as well in the 48. All the drivers in this group have not taken a checkered flag yet this season. Matt McIntyre was the winner of the Clash, and Vince Almriego and Chris Dollerton were the respective winners of their duels. Almriego's still running, but he's a long ways back and doesn't look like he'll be in this lead pack. Turner trying to figure out where to go. LaPlante's trying to go to the outside. That's not going to work. Look at Zach Rogers in the 6th. He's going to go back to the lead. He said, nobody wants the inside line. I will take it. Diego Yepes follows him through into 2nd. As we have a bit of a frame issue off turn 4, and here comes Yepes, not lifting. He keeps that momentum up. He's going to try and go for the race lead. Joe Collins now right behind him on that inside line as Yepes moves up to the middle room with Jordan Lopez and opens the door. Collins going to go to the top spot. Where do you want to be on the last lap? Because as we have seen since the drop of the green flag, it is so difficult to hold on to the race lead. Don't think you want to be out in front when the white flag waves. Think you're a sitting duck. We've not seen drivers successfully be able to keep their car really out in front. Just due to this rules package, you get such a run on the car in front of you. Scrub off the speed of the car in front of you and slingshot past them. Dylan Poteet now into 2nd. On the back bumper, Mitchell Collins as this race begins to wind down. Might have been a little contact there between Carter Friesen and Dylan Poteet as Friesen tried to make the move. Poteet through the block. Killed both of their momentum, and Keith Batson's going to slide through for 2nd. Contact there between him and LaPlante. Now we're starting to see them try and throw some blocks. LaPlante now going to go for 2nd place. My biggest concern right now is we saw the damaged car, I believe, by McIntyre, Vince Almriego, William Brock, all those drivers, Julius Anderson, all back in a group together. Will they be caught before this race is over? Because that's a big pack of race cars. Leader hits the start-finish line now. That group of race cars is exiting out of turn number 4, so it looks like that will not be the case. Okay, so fortunately, those drivers will not play a factor, and they haven't even yet caught Jesse Turner in the 47, I don't think. So if we are lucky, traffic will not play a factor into the outcome of this Daytona 500 race. Because next time by, 5 laps to go. I don't think they're going to catch that group of 4 or Jesse Turner before the conclusion of this event. As now Mitchell Collins out in front there. Benny Watson moves to 2nd. Zach Rogers battling for 3rd. I think the 2 strongest cars of the day, at least here in this second half, have been Watson and Rogers. And right now, they are lined up nose to tail. Will they try and make a move on Collins down here into 1? Here comes Jordan Lopez in the 38. Are they going to go 3 wide? Nope, it's double wide for 3rd. Almost was 3 wide for 2nd. Dylan Young made it 3 wide. He'll move into 5th. And again, the question of when they came to pit road that last time, was that within the fuel window of them being able to make it the rest of the way? Lopez with a big run down the back straightaway. He'll go to the inside of Watson for 2nd. Watson's a sitting duck there on that outside line. Loses 3rd to Rogers, 4th to Dylan Young. And now Rogers going to peek to the inside for 2nd. Right now, Mitchell Collins making me eat my words as far as drivers being able to hold on to that top position. He's doing a good job of controlling both lanes. Zach Rogers with Dylan Young in tow. Can that line get a good run down the back straightaway? Can Rogers make a move? Dylan Young now peeks down to the bottom. Rogers trying to get some help on the top side. He might still have the 2 car cleared, and I think he does. They'll be 3 wide for 3rd place. Zach Rogers now mano-a-mano with Mitchell Collins. Will he be able to make a move here out of turn 4 perhaps? Does he have enough of a run? It doesn't look like he quite does. Maybe he'll be able to get some good draft down this front straightaway and make a move down to turn 1. 3 laps to go here in the Daytona 500. Collins still with the lead. Now Keith Batson moves into second. Big run for the 39. He might have a run here out of turn 2. Darts to the inside. Johnny Gardner's going to go with him. Watson stays up top. Can Batson get to the left rear quarter panel of that peak Shell Pennzoil Ford? No, he can't. Collins hangs on for the moment. It's Ford's 1, 2, 3 right now. We asked about the blue ovals. Would they be able to be up at the front in the closing stages? So far, yes they are. 2 laps to go here at Daytona. Collins probably looking at his rearview mirror a lot more than he is out the front windshield. His spotter letting him know everything that's happening. Is Carter Friesen now. He's got Dylan Young. He's going to have a run down the back straightaway. Here he goes to the bottom. Is anybody going to go with him, though? Nobody does. Poteet hangs him out to dry. Poteet might be able to get around for second on that top side. Now Jordan Lopez offers the drafting help up there. This time by, they will see the white flag. If someone's going to pass Collins, they've got to do it quickly. 1 more lap to go here at Daytona. Here comes Carter Friesen to the bottom. Little contact perhaps as he leans on the 22. To the inside, Carter Friesen for the lead into turn 1. He's got it. Here comes Johnny Gardner in the 14. The official pole sitter started in the back of the backup car. Now hounding Carter Friesen for the top position. Carter Friesen, single car race team in that Chevrolet Camaro, moves high to block Collins, moves low to block Gardner. No line getting a run, at least for now. Collins going to clear for second. Will he have a shot at Friesen out of turn 4? Carter Friesen down on that double yellow line, trying to block any advance of Mitchell Collins. Off turn number 4. Will Collins make a move? Here he comes to the inside. Nobody goes with him. Here comes Rogers. Photo finish at the line. Carter Friesen by a splitter wins the Daytona 500. Collins nearly had it timed perfectly, but Friesen hangs on for his first win in the Duracell Cup Series here today in the Great American Race. Holy cow, what a finish. That was close. And it may end up being our closest finish of the season. And it takes place in race number 1. How about Carter Friesen, though? Single car operation. And up front when it mattered the most, throwing blocks there down the back straightaway. Collins gave it a shot out of 4, and Carter Friesen says, no sir, I'm going to get you at the line. And I wonder, is that Camaro splitter a little bit further out than the Ford splitter? I have no idea. Maybe in the way the manufacturers are made. I don't know if that gave Carter that little bit of edge at the start-finish line, but he will take it any way he can get it. Carter Friesen with the victory, and could very well potentially now be one of our 16 drivers that will battle it out in this season's chase for the Duracell Cup Series Championship. Woo! Little bit of everything here today. Let's go back and take a look at that photo finish, because that was closer than I expected it to be. This rules package, the side draft is a thing with this rules package, and Collins had that side draft perfect, the way that he timed it. Let's watch this, coming off of turn number 4. He didn't have anybody behind him at first. Gardner stayed up top, but then Zach Rogers moved low, and I think that with Rogers moving low, that little bubble that you can't see, that draft bubble, gave the 22 a push and made it as close as it was at the start-finish line. Watch this. 22 moves to the inside. I think he's to the left rear quarter panel at this point. Now watch when Rogers moves. That gives the 22 such a shove of momentum. And look how that side draft, how he starts closing as they draw closer to the start-finish line. And look at how close this is going to be. Look at that. That is amazing. I wish we could have a better camera. Let's see what the helicopter shows us. Look at that. I mean, how close can you get? I want to know what the official scoring on that was. We'll find out in a moment. But that is unbelievable. Absolutely incredible. Look at that. What a photo finish here at Daytona. Carter Friesen over Mitchell Collins. Friesen started this race from 5th. Remember we gave him that shout out earlier of how he had such a great speed weeks. Well, what a way to cap it off. 6/1000ths of a second. Carter Friesen besting Mitchell Collins. Wow. Unbelievable race. Unbelievable finish. We had a pretty big wreck to start off the race. We had the big one strike just before halfway. It left us with only 16 cars still running, only 14 of them finishing on the lead lap. But what a way to cap off our race weekend here from Daytona. Carter Friesen with the win. Mitchell Collins brings it home in second, just a splitter short of a Daytona 500 victory for him. Johnny Gardner, backup car and all, won the pole, had to give up the starting position due to a backup car, brings it home in the podium. Zach Rogers, one of the strongest cars of the day, brings it home in 4th. Dylan Poteet in 5th. Dylan Young will get 6th. Benny Watson was 7th. Austin LaPlante in 8th. Keith Batson, after starting the outside of the front row, brings it home 9th. Jordan Lopez in 10th. The last car to finish in the lead draft was Diego Yepes. He gets 11th. Julius Anderson was 12th. Vince Almriego, the unofficial pole sitter, finishes in 13th. William Brock in 14th. They finished on the lead lap. Levi McIntyre finished 15th off the lead lap, 1 lap down. Jesse Turner finished 2 laps down, but he brings it home in 16th. And everybody else finished out of the race either due to the big one that took place around lap 18 or the first wreck that took place, I think it was back on lap 4. From Dunham down to Garcia were the drivers that were caught up in the big one, caution number 2. And from 34th on down through 40th are the drivers that were caught up in the first wreck of the day, caution number 1. But my goodness, what a race here today. We had a little bit of everything. We had the big one, we had the bigger one, and we had ourselves a photo finish here at Daytona. That is going to do it here today for the Daytona 500. What a race weekend it has been. Hope you guys enjoyed it just as much as I did. If you did, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the crew today. We have shown your full finish results, and these are what your point standings look like heading into next week's race. Next week, we are going to be running our first race not using the rules package, as we will be at Manassas for our second race of the season. But Carter Friesen, by a splitter, is going to win the Daytona 500 here today, and we will see you guys next time as you've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best.